Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Latin Verb Parser app to practice parsing verbs. You can find the app on the iOS App Store to work on your iPhone or iPad. Now, the first thing that you need to notice is that I've got the Verb Parser app open on the left-hand side of the screen. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, I've got our verb chants that we've already learned and some space to write some explanations for things down. So the parsing app is on the left-hand side, and we want to first choose the right categories here. We have all these toggle switches. This app is designed to work for all levels of Latin learning, so there are a lot of options on here that we want to ignore that are for much later on. So in terms of conjugations, we've only learned the first conjugation and the second conjugation. A first conjugation verb is one that will end in a long ARE in the infinitive form, which is that second vocabulary form. And the second conjugation is one that will end in a long ERE in that second conjugation form. And so we'll note as we go through what conjugation the different verbs belong to. But we haven't learned the third and fourth, so we're going to leave those alone. We're only learning the active voice right now, so you'll never turn on the passive voice toggle switch. Likewise, for moods, we're only learning the indicative mood, so you won't turn on the subjunctive mood switch or the imperative mood switch. Leave those turned off. Now, there are 6 tenses, and we, as you can see in the chart on the right, have learned 3 of those tenses. So these are the toggle switches we'll turn on. We don't want to turn any of the others on. Once we've done that, we hit Start Quiz, and it generates our first word. Now, again, we're not dealing with voice, so leave voice set to active, leave mood set to indicative, and never change those on any verb that we're doing. The other ones, the other drop-down menus though, these are where we can choose between first, second, and third person, singular or plural for the number, and then present, imperfect, or future for the tense. So let's take a look at this particular verb right here, tenet. So our ending here is just this T on the end. It's whatever comes after the E or the A. We get the E and the A by chopping off the RE from the infinitive form. And so these letters will be what comes before our ending. So here we have a T. So we're going to go up and look on our verb chart here. And there's the T. So that tells me, this is on the third row, that tells me that it is third person. So I'm going to check third person off here. And it's in the singular column, so I'm going to change this to singular. And then this is in the present tense, so we need to select present tense. And we submit our parsing, and it is correct. Now, let's do another verb. New verb, tenebamus. Same verb, which means to hold, tenebamus. This time the ending is the bamus. What comes after the E, remember? Bamus. So we look for bamus. It is right here on our verb chart. Bamus. So this time we're dealing with first person, and it's plural again, or no, last time was singular, and it's plural. But now we're in the imperfect tense chant. So first person, plural, imperfect tense, submit parse, and we are correct. Now, in terms of translation of something like this word, let's see, let's switch colors. Tenebamus. In order to translate, I recommend working from the back to the front. So this ending part, the mus, means we, so we'll start with we. And then the ba portion right here, that's the marker of the imperfect tense. And we usually translate with that with was or were. So we were, and this verb means hold, to hold. So we were, we're going to add an ing. This is how we'll always do the imperfect tense. We were holding. All right, let's erase some of this information, and then we will get to work on another verb. New verb. Flint. So we have the NT, and we can find that pretty quickly on our chart. It's right here. Again, on the present tense, this time third person and plural. So we're going to do this as third person, plural, and present tense. Submit parse. Good. Now this present tense verb is pretty easy to translate. We work from the back to the front. This comes from flere, which means to weep. And working from the back to the front, all we have is this unt on there, which means they. There's no tense marker, so we'll just keep it as a present tense. They weep. You could say they are weeping. That's also present tense, but they weep is just fine. One more verb just to give an example here. Laborabo, laborabo. Now, this particular verb comes from the word laborare, which means to work or to labor. So you can see that root word there of the English word, laborare. And you notice there is an A here. We call that the connecting vowel. And so when we chop off this RE, that's going to be at the end of our stem. And that's exactly what we see, labora. So what is added is the bow at the end. And when we find that on our chart, it is right there, bow. So now we have, that's on the first line, first person. It's in the singular column, singular. And it is the future tense. Submit the parse, and that's correct. I do want to do one more thing. I want to show you what will happen if you actually get the word wrong so that you can see how the app works. We'll get a new verb, and we will intentionally miss this one. Now, we have the same ending as last time, bow, so first person singular future tense is actually correct. So I don't want to submit that parsing so that I can show you what happens when you're wrong. I'll change it to imperfect. We'll submit the parsing. Obviously, it's going to tell me that I'm incorrect, and then it's going to tell me the correct answer, which is first person singular future tense. It's going to tell us the mood and the voice as well, but again, we're not worried about those right now. We'll just keep them as active and indicative all the time. Well, I hope that's helpful. You can do as many of these verbs as you want. At first, you may need to have your verb chart with the endings on it next to you or in front of you while you're working on them. But the goal is to be able to parse words without needing to look at the chart, to have it so well memorized that you recognize the endings immediately. You're able to parse them and translate them as well.